this was a really scary moment because the first report we got last night, Cam Newton leaving the field, walking boot, and you just think the first thing is, look, Cam Newton is still one of the biggest stars in the NFL, and my goodness, without Cam Newton, you're talking about this could be the worst team in the NFL. So they really dodged a bullet as far as his injury went.
Yeah, they did dodge a bullet because they need him. He's the guy that kind of makes that offense go. And I know Christian McCaffrey has been a big piece, a big part of that puzzle. But without Cam Newton, this offense can't reach their potential. And so they have to find a way to make sure they keep him healthy and upright and available. And some of that may require, no more exposure in preseason games. It may also require, let's take away some of the quarterback run game and allow him to function a little more like a traditional quarterback. The main thing is, the bottom line is, they have to have Cam Newton for them to kind of continue to hold these postseason aspirations and hopes that they have down in Carolina.
They also need at some point to realize, maybe getting a good backup quarterback who can come in and play. We're not worried about, is Will Grier any good? I mean, they've never really addressed the backup quarterback spot there.
No, not with a legitimate player, not with a legitimate guy that can come in and compete and really push Cam. Not necessarily push him to start, but just push him because when Cam looks over his shoulder, he sees someone that can maybe eventually replace him, kind of like Tom Brady could squint and see that maybe Jimmy Garoppolo would be in line to be a starting quarterback. And so just something to get him going. But I think Cam has 2 years left on his deal. It is really important that in this year coming up, he has to show people that he can be the franchise quarterback going forward, because if not, if you're the Carolina Panthers and Cam goes off to another injury, you then have to wonder from a durability standpoint, is he ever going to be that we saw him become in 2015 when he was the MVP, or do they need to be in the business of looking for a young quarterback to groom and eventually replace Cam Newton?
Jason Smith, Bucky Brooks, in for Dan and the Danettes here today on Fox Sports Radio. Now, Daniel Jones, another big game last night, played a little bit against some of the ones, which was nice. Everybody wants to anoint him and turn him into the Giants starting quarterback right away. Mm-hmm. But no matter what happens this preseason, I can't see the Giants differing from this plan for when he winds up playing. Eli Manning is going to be the quarterback until he's no longer the quarterback, meaning he's going to start, and then as he struggles to move the team and they can't score points, Eli loses the job, Daniel Jones takes it, and it's his job forever. Kind of like how Eli, took it the first time around with Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner was signed as the bridge quarterback. Yep. He couldn't move the team, fumbled a lot. They went to Eli Manning, and it was Eli's job. I can't see the Giants differing from that, just because of the way they have dealt with Eli Manning the last couple of years. Because last year it was, Eli's great, he's our guy, we're taking Saquon Barkley, we're ready. And then it was, okay, we need a quarterback now because Eli's almost done, so let's go get Daniel Jones. I mean, the way they're going to handle it, I can't see them saying, we're starting Daniel Jones right away and Eli's going to come off the bench. Because if it's too big for Daniel Jones in the beginning, going back to Eli is going to be messy. I kind of see it as, it's going to be Eli's job, and then to be Daniel Jones.
We've heard it. The guy is a legacy. He's a legend for the Giants and their franchise. We heard the owner, Mara, talk about they believe that Eli still has some years left and that a perfect scenario would be a situation where Daniel Jones didn't have to play this season. We heard Dave Gettleman talk about the Pat Mahomes plan, where Alex Smith played the entire year at a Pro Bowl level and then gave way to Pat Mahomes. The New York Giants can potentially have the best of both worlds. If Eli Manning returns and he plays well, it does allow Daniel Jones to sit on the sideline comfortably, learn the game, and the game will slow down even that much more when he has his opportunity. We'll see how they attempt to do it, but I believe that Eli Manning is going to be the starter, and he will have to play his way out of the starting job for Daniel Jones to get a chance.
I mean, where do you put the preseason for Daniel Jones as far as accomplishing?
I think it's been great. I mean, I think you arguably could say that he's been the best. No, there's no argument. He's been the best rookie quarterback. When we talk about these games and these preseason exhibition games and how they're playing against backups, well, if they're playing against backups, I want to see him dominate against the backups, which he's been able to do. When they play the starters, I want to make sure that it doesn't look too big for him. And so when we look at his performance compared to the other rookies, he's been head and shoulders above those guys. And so I think you have to give him credit for what he's been able to accomplish. Doesn't mean you give him a gold jacket. It just means, look, Daniel Jones has been a pretty solid player. Maybe the Giants were onto something when they took him with number 6 overall.
And that's the funny thing is that since last year's draft, where they decided on Saquon Barkley, allowing Sam Darnold to go to the Jets, they had to spend all last year on defense. Even though Saquon Barkley was good, it was, hey, no, Eli's our guy. We like Saquon Barkley's a once-in-a-generational talent, and this guy's going to the Hall of Fame. And they had to be right about Daniel Jones because they're fighting for the back page relevancy with two teams in town. And for the next 10 years, they could look at having to defend, yes, we knew what we were doing. Yes, we allowed Sam Darnold to go across town. And that's the worst thing. If the Giants had passed on Sam Darnold and Darnold went to the Bills or Darnold had gone to the Cardinals, and okay, but you allow him to go to the Jets, and these two teams fight for everything in New York. I mean, if they're not right about Daniel Jones, I mean, that's it. I mean, Gettleman, everything. This is all their legacy. This is their jobs on the line for this.
A little bit, but I can't say that they were wrong in what they did last year. Saquon Barkley has been a generational talent. Saquon Barkley is one of only 3 players in NFL history to go over 2,000 scrimmage yards as a rookie. And so I don't think they're wrong. So now what you have to do is let's look at these drafts and back-to-back. So now if you hit on your running back and Saquon Barkley, it gives you an opportunity at cost control to have one of the best players at a manageable number. And if you come back and hit again on Daniel Jones, like it may look like they have, they've been able to lock up basically 2/3 of the triplets that you need to win in the game. And we can talk about the Jets and Sam Darnold, but I don't know if we can legitimately say that we know exactly what Sam Darnold is based on how he played last year. Yes, he finished the year with the bang. Those last 3 games were pretty strong, but for the most part, he was up and down. It wasn't like he played like Baker Mayfield where we could see the difference in their offense. We will see, but I think we've been a little quick to crown and anoint Sam Darnold as a sure thing as a franchise quarterback as opposed to doing that. And I know that pains you.
Oh, no, we haven't. I mean, look, we're going 13-3 this year and 2 or 3 Super Bowls before he's done.
I mean,
everything is fine.
I mean,
everything is fine.
We're ready to give the guy the jacket. We're ready to say that he's the best. I saw the preseason game last week against the Falcons, and I turned on Twitter, and I was like, oh, my God, what did my guy do? Did he go 20 for 23? He was 5 for 7 for like 40 yards. And I get it. But look, this is what happens not only in the real world, it happens in the scouting world. When you hit your wagon to a prospect, you go all the way in. And it's hard for people to come off that position because so many evaluators were all in on Sam Darnold after the Rose Bowl game 2 years ago that they can't get off that opinion. Just like there are going to be people who are still waiting to see the other shoe drop for Daniel Jones because they were so staunchly against him being a top pick, a first-round pick, better yet, a top 10 pick. It's just kind of the part of the narrative that goes along with it. But we'll see if your guy plays up to the hype that goes along with it.
Oh, he already is. I'm not worried at all. Buck, I mean, you look at me like I'm not worried at all. Look, when you stink for that long and you make the best draft pick, I mean, seriously, this is the best draft pick the Jets made in 50 years. 50 years. When did they had a quarterback?
Pennington.
Okay, Pennington was great. Then his arm fell off. Okay, we had him for 4 years, and then Pennington's arm fell off. That's 2006, Buck. That's 2006. That's 13 years ago, Buck.
Oh my God.
13 years.
50 years.
50 years. Tell me a better than you get a guy like that who can be a franchise quarterback for a dozen years and potentially one of the top end quarterbacks in the NFL. It's the best draft pick the Jets have had in 50 years. 50 years.
It either means that they haven't drafted well.
No, they haven't.
Or you guys are just clinging.
Yes. All of these things.
Wishing on a star.
No, all of those things are true, Buck. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying the reality is that Sam's the best pick in the last 50 years.
I can't believe you like him over Richard Todd.
Oh, don't. Why? See, now I'm going to show you the Mud Bowl and go, you want to see why I don't like Richard Todd?